Hey everyone, Theo here. In my full review for the Wacom MovinkPad 11, I found out that the Wacom 1 standard pen. In my full review for the Wacom MovinkPad 11, I found out that the Wacom 1 standard pen actually can draw thinner lines more easily compared to the Wacom Pro Pen 3 that's included with the tablet. So in this video, I'm going to test all the different pens with Wacom EMR on the Wacom MovinkPad 11. This is just a pressure sensitivity test, and we will start with the Wacom Pro Pen 3. So this is how thick the line is, and I'm going to draw thin lines just by glancing the pen on the surface. So I am able to draw thin lines quite easily here. Let's switch to the Wacom 1 pen with one side button. I had to press down much harder to get the thicker lines. So as I glance the pen on the display, there are no lines. So for this pen, I actually have to press down a bit harder. So let me just right here, press harder. If I don't press down, I just can't get the lines. Next, we have the Wacom 1 standard pen. And this one is fitted with the Wacom elastomer nib, which is the soft nib. And here I can draw thin lines quite easily. Actually, the performance now, today, is similar to the Wacom Pro Pen 3. So the Wacom 1 standard pen has two side buttons instead of the one button on the Wacom 1 pen. Next, we have the Samsung S Pen. Yeah, I had to press down much harder to get the thicker line. This is with the hard tip, and if I just glance on the display, nothing happens. I have to press down a bit harder to get the lines. And I can see the lines are actually slightly thinner compared to the lines so far. But I do have to press down a bit harder to get those lines. So let me just right here press harder. Next we have the Staedtler Norris Digital Jumbo. This is the thicker version. I lost the thinner one, and this one has a felt tip on it, a soft tip. So as I glance on the display, I can draw thin lines really easily. So this pen is actually quite sensitive, and the performance I would say is quite similar to the Wacom Pro Pen 3. And next we have the Pilot Dr. Grippy Wacom EMR. I can draw thin lines quite easily as well. Performance is similar to the Norris Digital and the Wacom Pro Pen 3. Lamy AL Star. Okay, for this I have to press down harder. Yeah, so if I just glance the pen on the display, nothing happens. So I have to press down harder to get the lines. Let's right here press harder. By the way, the pen performance for all these pens may vary depending on which pen tip you use. Okay, so last pen that I have here is the Samsung S Pen again, this time with the elastomer nib. Okay, I have to press down a bit harder as well. Okay, but this time around, this S Pen is able to draw the thin lines with me just glancing on the surface. But for the S Pen with the hard tip, yep, I definitely need to press down a bit harder to get those lines. I also want to test the Samsung Creator Edition S Pen, which I do not recommend because you cannot get replacement pen tips even today, many months or a few years after the release of this pen. So let's just test here. Yeah, I have to press down a bit harder to get the thicker lines. So if I glance the pen tip on the display, I can barely see any lines. When I zoom in close, I can see the lines are really thin. So this could be good for people who want really thin lines. But even so, I will not recommend this pen because replacement pen tips are difficult or impossible to find. From the results you see here, you can from the results you can see that some pens require you to press down a bit harder to draw the lines, but all the pens can draw thin lines. So drawing thin or thick lines is not an issue with all these pens. Now let's take a closer look at the Pro Pen 3 and the Wacom One standard pen. So it looks like the line performance or the pen performance is the same. But for some reason, if I hold the Wacom One Pro Pen 3 vertically and draw with minimal pressure, you can see the line is quite thick. If I draw from the side like this, it's thin. Now for the Wacom One standard pen, if I hold it vertically, I can still draw thin lines easily. If I hold it at an angle, I get the same performance. With the Pro Pen 3, if this is vertical, the lines are thicker. So how you hold the pen or the angle of the pen may also affect pressure sensitivity. And now let's test tilt sensitivity, Wacom Pro Pen 3 versus Wacom One standard pen. So I'm going to draw with minimal pressure and then tilt and then with minimal pressure. Now I'm drawing with minimal pressure, with heavy pressure, with tilt and heavy pressure, and with minimal pressure. Now with the Wacom One standard pen, with minimal pressure, with tilt, with minimal pressure, with minimal pressure, with tilt and pressure, and minimal pressure. So same thing. If I hold the pen more vertically with the Wacom Pro Pen 3, you can see there is more pressure because the lines here are darker compared to the lines here. But otherwise, tilt performance is similar with these two pens and also with the other pens. So the Wacom Pro Pen 3 has pretty good pen performance on this tablet, so it's not really necessary to buy other pens. The main reason to buy other pens would be for the design, if you don't like this slim pen design, because with all these options here, you can have a triangular body, a pen with a cap, a big grip, and well, just more designs.